GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discussion is advice. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Star Trek, The Final Frontier. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission, to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to boldly go where no show has gone before.
Naomi Wildman. I was setting it up. Oh. Welcome to the GNT show, where obviously we have no script.
Yeah, let's just get this puppy started.
As always, the beautiful, the lovely, the high-booted, short-skirted, big-breasted Terry Lynn.
That would be me. Admiral Shaw.
She's badass. It's Ceridian.
Good morning. It's Sunday on the GNT show.
You know the worst part of this morning? It's not the getting up early. It's the fact they're making me wear clothes to do the show.
It's time for Coffee Clutch.
Strap on your helmets, boys and girls. It's gonna get rough.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those mornings.
Let me put on my seatbelt, my helmet with the little blinky light on top.
For safety.
When we decided we were going to do the GNT show,
Man.
one of the things we said was no standards. GNT show does not go on the air because we're ready. It goes on the air because it's 9 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Mike could have snapped by then and killed us both. Pain sticks for Mike, evidently.
We have our production meetings on the air.
Well, it's the best way to get you to adhere to things.
Yeah, you've now set an expectation. That's the thing about the GNT show is we set no expectations.
I need more coffee.
Wow,
I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to do general news or Star Trek news, and I figured
this is
out.
Terry
Okay.
having a series of small
It's news.
strokes, actually.
Well, it doesn't take long for this show to deteriorate, does it?
Straight the fuck downhill.
I don't always podcast, but when I do, I G&T.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the GNT Show, episode 137. I'm Terry Lynn.
Joe Lontrue, surprise! We'll talk about it in a minute. Look at Terry in her Captain America t-shirt and nothing else. Thank God it goes down below her hips.
Yeah, it would have been frightening.
We'd have gotten an NC-17 rate. Oh, wait. We already do. and look at him over there wearing his... Never mind. Oh, good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Kapla. How's everyone doing?
Good. It was a fun week, kind of crazy. How about you guys? What did you guys end up doing this week? How did we end up getting you out of shooty time, Mr. Nick?
Today's a travel day for AT, and the travel for me is only like an hour up the road, so.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but next weekend I'll be on. Next weekend, as far as I stop it, Matthew Anderson. As far as I know,
pay attention.
I am. I just keep hoping that somehow that scene won't stop. As far as I know, next week I will not be here because it's the last day of annual training. Although it should be a travel day as well, but I don't know.
Okay, Mikey, what about you? How are you? How was your week?
Pretty busy. I finished the second draft to writer's block, so I'm a little happier with it. So I'm setting it aside. Had a vigorous meeting, went over a bunch of notes, and I've started revising my script for them.
Excellent.
Yesterday was First Contact Day, so happy belated First Contact Day out there.
Happy belated First Contact Day to everybody. Very fun to be on social media yesterday and see all the fun stuff that people had done about it and wrote about it.
I had to explain to someone that First Contact Day was not a losing your virginity thing, that it was a Star Trek thing. Okay, people in the chat room, I'm going to make a decree. Stop with the track you're on right now.
Oh, please. That's gross. Yeah. It's morning. Please don't.
So yesterday I spent the day with my niece, Katie. We started off playing with some of my Star Trek action figures, and then while we watched some DS9, because she wanted to see some of the action figures that I had. So I introduced her to Worf and Cisco and Morn.
Very cool.
And the Quark. I love Quark. And then she wanted to see Spock, so I showed her Spock, and I asked her, which one do you want to watch? And she said the one with the Gorn. So I put on Arena.
Awesome.
So, and then we watched Frozen like 6 times.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yes, Bezzy. I have yet to see it.
I've only seen bits and pieces.
And I'm such a Disney fan too. That's
it's
that was exactly because somehow this movie slipped right by me.
Yeah, me too. Although the song didn't. The song definitely stayed with me, and I loved it.
But I didn't realize just how passionate people got about it so fast.
Yeah.
It's a really good story. It's a really good film.
I've heard nothing but spectacular stuff about it.
Yeah, if you got to check it out. And speaking as someone who watched it 6 times yesterday, I still have to admit, every time I watch it, I get all teary-eyed. I mean, it's good.
Oh,
that was me.
That's awesome.
That was me with Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc. Doesn't it tear you apart at the end, especially? Oh my God,
little Boo.
Yeah, it was cute. Kitty.
Anyway, that very last scene.
I know, the perfect ending to a film, don't you think?
She said Kitty because she was silly.
Well, I have a feeling that we're going to be a very spoiler-heavy episode today, you guys. So, because we're still in Coffee Clutch, and Nick and I are probably going to touch on some of
We're going to touch each other.
We're going to touch each other and our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Captain America. So, warning you ahead, there will be spoilers. If you have not yet seen Captain America and don't want to know, you will not offend us if you leave the chat room.
When we actually get to that part of the show, that's when we'll re-announce it, unless we're doing it now.
I figured we were going to do it now. That's why
Samuel L. Jackson says, "Spoiler, motherfuckers. Do you understand it?"
Holy crap.
I know. Well, okay, Thursday night, I was lucky. They had 3 showings, one in IMAX 3D, one in IMAX, and one in regular. And I had actually read something that said it wasn't filmed in IMAX, so there's actually some distortion or some degradation.
Right.
So don't see it in IMAX. So I was like, okay. My friend Lindsay, my movie buddy, and I went and saw it.
It doesn't need to be IMAX. We saw it in 2D.
Yeah.
It was great. Oh my God.
First of all, the trailer's in front of it. There's some fantastic stuff coming out.
Yeah, there is. Lucy looks interesting.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, it really does look interesting.
I heard about that movie like 2 years ago, and I've been waiting for it. The trailer for Days of Future Past had me like so excited.
Which one was that one?
The X-Men.
Oh, we didn't get that trailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't get that trailer. That's weird. I would have liked to have seen that trailer, but we didn't get to see it. We saw another long one for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my God.
So funny.
Ooga chaka.
But Lucy we got. There was a couple of others that looked. Alan and I laughed and thought, yeah, it looks pretty lame. What the hell? Oh God, it was. What movie was it that we just kind of? I don't even remember. Alan, what was it? It was like the trailer looked better than the lead-in on that advertising thing that they do, right? That half an hour of ads and documentaries that you get while you're sitting in there. And it just looked like I was really disappointed with, Spider-Man. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know why I'm shying away from saying what I feel today. I don't like the kid that's playing him.
I don't either.
I actually miss Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. I'm not fond of the actor. And it's not that he can't act. I just don't, I have to, to me, it comes down to looks. You just.
Exactly.
I'm totally, you know what? It's remember when I very first saw or heard that Chris Pine was going to be Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
And I told everybody, I said, I'm a bit distracted by the size of his forehead.
Yeah.
Okay, take that and put it on steroids. That's every time I look at this actor, all I think is, holy crap, his forehead's huge. It's this total Mike Myers moment where it's like, his cranium is enormous.
And I realized that the character's blonde, but they have taken, as you well know, she was number 1 on my celebrity exemption list last year.
Yeah.
Does not work as a blonde. Something it makes her face look like flatter. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. To me,
no, you're right. George in the chat room says I like Andrew Garfield. I do too. It's just I don't like him in this role. It's just I don't know.
But then again, I've never really been a big fan of Spider-Man, and not the least of which is just from the trailers that I've seen. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. It'll be a heavy action, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're following a guy who's swinging from rope to rope that you get a little seasick just watching him.
And you know what the trailer pissed me off with? They did not. Okay, they show Electro, who looks actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's
the Jamie Foxx character.
Jamie Foxx. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They show the Green Goblin. He was a pretty integral part of the trailer I saw. and then they kind of show Rhino, who's played by Paul Giamatti, but you don't know it because you never see him.
Didn't they also show a little bit of Vulture?
I didn't see any Vulture.
I saw a trailer at somewhere that had a little bit of Vulture. At least there was two scenes. One with just the wings on a little stand, kind of like when they were walking through like a museum type setting. And then again, just a real quick brief flyby, and you couldn't see who the actor was, but there was a scene with Vulture. I don't know which trailer it was that I saw.
Who's playing Vulture? Do you know?
No clue.
Interesting.
But it looks like they're trying to go, a lot bigger with Spider-Man this time around than previous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it'll end up being, like I said, the second trailer we saw for it in the theater was far better as far as making me interested in the story that they were going to be telling than the entire pseudo documentary that we got sitting there during the half an hour before Captain America showed. So I don't know. I kind of went, oh, well, that story looks a little bit different. It looks like he's actually trying to, that there might be a little bit of heart in it. And that's the one thing is that if I don't, action movie or not, if I don't feel like there's going to be, gut punching character development, then I don't want to do it. I don't want to waste my time. And that's why I think, especially lately, Disney's Marvel films, holy shit. And Captain America did not disappoint me in that regard.
Okay, let me start out with this question.
Wait. We're reminding people we're going to be talking about not just Captain America, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Spoilers, motherfuckers. Do you understand them?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you in a generic fashion first. Okay, so let's see. We have 3 Iron Man movies, 2 Thor movies, Hulk, the Avengers. So this is the 8th of these Marvel films.
With an announcement that came out this week that Disney has the entire thing planned out to 2028.
Yeah. Where do you rank Winter Soldier? Hello?
I'm thinking number 1 or number 2.
That's exactly how I am. It's that good, people.
It's that good. I really enjoyed it. I knew my hopes were up, and I thought, fuck. Sometimes you read tweets before you see a movie, and they can either get your hopes up, and if they get your hopes up, then you think, I'm going to be disappointed.
Terry was yelling at me.
I thought I was going to be disappointed because of all of the people whose tweets I totally take heart in, it's Jeffrey Thorne's.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys don't know who Jeffrey Thorne is, he has written Star Trek books, but he's also a television writer. He also happens to be of African descent. I think he's British. Didn't want to say African American because I don't think he's American. I think he's a Brit, but I don't know. And he tweeted something along the lines of, holy shit, Captain America, Disney, all he kept saying was, Marvel made me extremely happy today. This movie has 2 black men as leads, and they're both good guys. It was just, and then he said something about, you'll believe that black men can fly. And I just laughed. I was like, I gotta go see this movie. So
it was funny because we left the theater and I looked at Lindsay and I said, you got Cap, then you've got 2, and even if you count Agent 13, 3 kick-ass women,
right,
in a movie that passes the Bechdel test with flying colors, and 2 black men as the leads. You know what I mean as leads. And
right.
Black Widow having almost as much screen time as Cap and nailing it.
And then throw on top of it great writing of character where scenes between lead characters aren't just about fluffy stuff. They're talking about real depth, feeling of humanity, that there's a couple of scenes where you end up fucking crying. And I'm like, what the hell? It was by and large. Yeah, by the end, the reason why I toss it back and forth, I would have to say it would toss back and forth between number 1 and number 2 with, in my opinion right now, the Avengers. It's just because I like the kind of big ensemble caper kind of film. So it gives me more joy to watch the Avengers because it's more fun. It's more tongue-in-cheeky and there's a lot more fun. Captain America is definitely drama-driven.
This movie is as big as the Avengers.
Yeah.
And even though it's labeled Captain America, it is such a team movie.
There is no doubt that they made a lot of changes. We gotta start talking about sports now. But what amazed me at the end of it, Alan and I kept looking at each other in the film going, oh my God, I can't. Tuesday. What are we gonna do on Tuesday? At the end of the movie, we're like, holy shit, how are they gonna?
So do they have to rename the show now?
I don't know. They've they've already renamed it here, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising.
Yeah, that's just a subtitle they've had for like the arc that they're in.
Right. So how the hell are they going to rename it?
I don't know.
I don't either.
But talk about changing the universe that they're in.
No doubt.
And, you were talking about the scenes. I loved the scene where Cap and Natasha are driving together.
In the truck.
And just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, there's no... I can't overstate. It reminded me of the scene, or I'm reminded of it because at the time it didn't. One of the moments that I actually enjoyed in Star Trek Into Darkness was in the shuttle when they were talking before the obligatory action scene, except Captain America didn't interrupt it with stupid action for no reason. They actually let it play out.
Yeah. There's one thing throughout this film who directed it, by the way, the Captain America film?
It's a pair of brothers.
All I have to say was throughout the entire film, I kept thinking to myself, who the fuck directed this? Because this is art. This is genius. The pacing of it, not the least of which is the editing on this film was fucking unbelievable. The pacing of it, the fact that they didn't throw character under the bus. Yes, it's a long film, by the way. It's a long movie, but I kept thinking to myself, I know this is a long movie, but so help me God, if this ends anytime soon, I'll be pissed off.
I can say this for its length. It is a long movie, but there's two things I can tell you. One, never once was I even tempted to look at my watch.
Right.
Which is a huge thing for me. Two, I was so into it that at no point did I think...
myself, don't end.
Yeah, and at no point did I think, oh man, I gotta really go to the bathroom. This is a good time.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that, for me to say that in what typically would be described as a summer popcorn flick is saying something, because I really cared about the characters in this. There was even Bucky. I was like, well, what are they going to do with Bucky? And what's going to happen to Bucky?
Loved the chemistry between Cap and Falcon.
Yes. And I'm
From the very first moment they meet, those two actors clicked.
Yeah, no doubt. Falcon, I was very pleased to see at the end of the film that he got this generation's Bucky, right? He had a sidekick.
Yeah.
Captain America is not, as much as you would think that he's a solo kind of a character, he's really not.
He has to be surrounded because he's such a Boy Scout that he has to be surrounded. By the way, Baz posted, thank you, Baz. Anthony and Joe Russo are the directors.
Oh my God. Everything about them, the cuts,
Marvel uses directors that do a lot of independent stuff before they do the stuff for Marvel. Like even Kenneth Branagh, he does a lot of Shakespeare and stuff. So when they got him to do Thor, and then Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon, who I know people are going, well, not independent. Well, they did a lot. They did a lot of stuff on their own, in their own way, where they had the freedom. And Marvel likes that. Marvel likes them to challenge what Marvel wants to do as well, and say, okay, but what about if we do this? And Marvel goes, oh yeah, make that work.
Right. Obsidian
because they trust the directors.
Right. And I'll tell you, he's right. Obsidian puts in there. Would there be any credit to the scriptwriters, Chris Marcus and Stephen McFeely? Yeah. This script was tight. The script was good. It wasn't false. It didn't ring anything but true.
They wanted part of the reason when Robert Redford's people came to them. They didn't go to him.
What a fun part for him.
And they wanted a 70s style Day of the Condor type, all the President's Men political thing for Cap, because it's a natural fit. And boy, did they nail that as well. Yeah. Think of it like this, people. It's all the President's Men with Kung Fu.
For those who aren't afraid of the spoilers or who already know, what happens in Captain America is you find out that after the end of Captain America 1, we thought, oh, they got rid of Hydra, and that Cap got rid of Hydra, and the Tesseract, we all know that it ends up in the hands of Stark and therefore S.H.I.E.L.D., and it gets stolen by Loki and whatnot, right? So we all think that Hydra is gone. Well, Captain America, you find out that no, as they had always promised, if you cut off one head, 2 more will rise. And that Hydra, you find out, kind of decided to change tactic. And instead of doing an overt type of try to take over, they went more for the subversive, infectious way of like fascism. And it played just like any anti-communist movie had done or anti-fascist movie had done in like the 60s and 70s. It really did, because it was that one big moral of the story, which is watch how paranoid you get, because that's the freedom they want you to lose. Choose what it is. When you say that you want to be free, be very, very careful, because your freedom also means there's a chance you're going to get blown to shit. Really, it does. And it was.
Did you catch the Doctor Strange shout out?
Yes.
Easter egg in there?
Yes.
Like me and one other person were like, oh.
It was so well done. Great moral of the story kind of a thing, without it being resolved, but of course. And at the end of the film, essentially, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone. There's no more S.H.I.E.L.D.
Literally and administratively.
Yeah, there's not a lot left. No, as a matter of fact, there's nothing left. And they knew, and you knew before the end of the film that that's what was going to happen. But every person who watches Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and knows what's been going on in that show, because they're supposed to run concurrently.
And what a brilliant run-up to this movie, that they were able to do it without waving their arms and going, hey, we're leading up to Captain America, hey. That it was so well done.
God damn it. Did you see what Chooch just put in talking about Sky and how he thinks she might be Miss Marvel?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go that route. Be interesting if they do.
Alan and I came home and started to talk about it, going, where's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going to go?
Oh my God, that's what I was thinking too. Look, if this is the only disappointment I had in the movie, it really tells you how good it is. I was kind of disappointed there was no Coulson cameo.
It makes sense, because remember the Avengers, and none of the Avengers know that Coulson's alive.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they said, oh yeah, well we totally lied to him about you being dead, so.
Sam Jackson gets a kick-ass action scene in this movie.
Which you get a teaser of in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode from last week.
Yeah. But that was a long sequence. That was like 10 minutes?
Oh, wow. I mean, some of the best stunt work I've ever seen, some of the best explosives works I've ever seen, without them being, it's over the top, but even, you know what I mean? It's over the top, but you can't get enough of it.
When that machine gun popped up, I laughed out loud.
Yeah, it was great. But that's just
Alan has given you a commandment.
Oh, he has?
He says, tell them our theory.
Okay, our theory is that, remember how they were talking, how Cap and Natasha go into the room with a computer down in the bunker?
That whole sequence was amazing.
That's the clairvoyant. Clairvoyant is the algorithm.
Is Zola, yeah.
Is Zola. And that because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week, you find out that it is a person. You think that the clairvoyant is a person who has access to everyone's reports. It has access to everybody's data, right? Well, in Captain America, you find out that this algorithm is created by the monitoring of everyone's data, your birth records, your death records, your everything you've ever done, your SAT scores, your whatever. And then it makes a determination as to your threat or whatnot. And that's what this whole thing was to get rid of the people that Zola felt would be the best to go first in order to take complete control. And I think that's what the clairvoyant is. That's the clairvoyant.
The only thing that I saw missing from the movie, and there was no way to do it, was when they were fighting in the climactic battle at the end. On the first carrier, I turned to Lindsay and I said, they could really use Iron Man right about now. And then on the second one, I said they could really use Thor right about now.
Yeah, I did. I thought the same thing. George said, Basil thought that the clairvoyant was Agent Hand.
Yeah.
Agent Hand.
How dare you besmirch the name of the beautiful Agent Hand?
I think Agent Hand is simply Hydra. That's all. I think she's Hydra. Yeah. We all know what happens to Sitwell.
Yeah, were you shocked?
Well, once I realized, what shocked me more was the goddamn Gary Shanley.
That was hilarious. Him talking about the young girl that he was going to meet.
The young girl, and then he leans forward and said, "Hail Hydra." I was like, oh shit. No, I have to say, this movie actually made me jump out of my skin once.
With
I
what?
had to I grabbed Alan's knee. The poor guy's probably still got bruises. It's when, spoiler, it's when Fury gets shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. I jumped out of my chair. I was like, holy crap. Because it was so unexpected.
Because it was such a quiet scene leading into that.
Such a quiet scene.
And then when the agent busts in and she's like, I was assigned to protect you, I was like, oh, well played.
It was,
Can't
and
say
I like the
enough
fact
good
that
about
she
this
ended up being good. She might end up being Danvers. Although I don't know, we'll see.
See, the only thing I can't,
because did we ever hear her name?
I've heard absolutely no rumblings at all about Skye or Captain Marvel coming into it at all. And I mean, I read a lot of the comic spoilers pages which cover that stuff, and her name has not been mentioned at all, and that would have leaked by now.
I don't know. Her character didn't even have a name.
Who, Agent 13?
Yeah, exactly. Agent 13, please.
But Marvel has done an amazing job of casting people who resemble the comic book characters, and neither of them look like Carol Danvers. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and yeah, that's true. She does end up being Steve's love in the comics too, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know. I do hope that and not the least of which is she really should be coming from the Air Force. That's all I have to say. She's supposed to be coming from the Air Force. That needs to be there. It needs to be the pilot. Damn it. So there's our spoilerific discussion of.
And we really didn't give that many spoilers away.
It's so much fun.
There's lots of little moments in the movie that are spoiled,
right,
that have impact.
And here I have to ask you a question, because you and I have talked before with Mike about how frustrated we have been as far as Star Trek is concerned with the JJ universe of having to go to a comic book to get more story about the movie. How is this different? Why do we feel so differently about the interconnectivity of a television show and a movie universe? Why is this okay and jumping to comic books for JJ verse isn't?
comic
Because
books are not as accessible as television and film.
That's a really good point. You can watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. online if you don't see it on TV, so you've got that.
Mike, and what were you going to say?
I don't have a comic book shop in my area that's all that super reliable. They don't carry Star Trek.
None of the Star Trek titles?
Not that they're not fans.
But oh wow! I'm sorry.
And if they don't sell,
yeah, in our area apparently they don't sell at all, so they don't really keep any in stock. So it's like it has to be something that is accessible to everyone for it to have a truly good reach. Otherwise, it's a waste because you're leaving people out. Television, it's everywhere. There's a movie theater in every town. Those two do go together.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, there's always the internet. You can always watch it on Netflix or YouTube or Hulu or wherever, or wait a few months and get it from Redbox or Amazon Prime or wherever. You can get the films, you can get the TV shows. You may not get it all in real time, but you can get everything. Whereas with the comics, it's not as accessible. You got to go that extra step, and it might in a lot of cases it's a big step. I've got to drive an hour.
Yeah.
For me,
I agree with everything Mike said. And like, here's the difference. Okay, for the 2009 Countdown comic, knowing Nero's full backstory and the friendship he had with Spock, none of that came through in the movie.
Right. See, for me, what I was going to say is when it comes to the greater world of Marvel and the way that the movies interconnect and the way that the movies are now interconnecting solidly with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not that I'm looking to go to a movie to fill in plot holes. I can watch any one of them independent of each other and get an idea about what's going on in the other. To me, it's just it's frosting on a cake as opposed to filling the holes.
Exactly. And you can see Captain America 2 and never have seen any of the other Marvel movies, and it's going to work.
Right.
Or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. There's no doubt that you could watch this movie never having seen another one of the films. You wouldn't have needed to see the television show or anything, and it would still be a fantastic action film. And it would still mean something because you get an idea of what's going on because they kept the plot of it so tight.
Now, I will ask you this, Terry. The post-credits scenes Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, I know I don't have to say this to our listeners, but really, if you go to a Marvel movie and you walk out when the credits start, you really deserve to be hit by a drunk driver when you're in the parking lot.
And it's because Marvel now does 2 post scenes, 2, not just 1, but 2.
Now, the second, the actual post-credit scene, I thought was interesting because it sets up the third Captain America movie. It ties so directly into the last words from Cap and Falcon. But the first post-credit scene, you know who those 2 kids are, right? That they were looking at? I want to make sure you know who that is. Okay.
No, I don't.
That is setting up the Avengers. That was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Okay, cool.
So does it make more sense now?
Yeah, now it does.
Yeah.
And they have Loki's scepter.
His little scepter thing, yeah. His staff with the Tesseract.
The other half or the other side of the Tesseract, or whatever that the Tesseract-y thing that's in it, because the Tesseract itself is it's back up in Asgard.
I was like the only person in our theater who knew who those 2 were. And at first I was a little confused until I realized that it was Quicksilver because of the way he was moving so fast, and then with Scarlet Witch because I recognized the actress who is one of the Olsen girls, not the twins, but she's a sister of the Olsen girls.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I totally had a Marvelgasm when I realized that they actually put them in there to set up for Age of Ultron.
Very cool. And then the second teaser was, of course, the denouement of Bucky when he goes into the Smithsonian.
Did you think that Stan Lee was going to say fuck? I so did when he said, I'm fired. I thought he was going to say, I'm fucked.
I'm so fucked.
I thought that's what he was going to say.
Yeah, I did, but I was laughing too hard just by him walking in because he has a cameo in every film. He's 95
years old, you know.
He has a cameo in every film, and I thought usually his cameos are within the main body of the work, not in the denouement scenes.
No, it was in the main body after Cap takes the costume.
Oh, Cap takes that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. My brain was
he's
thinking,
always getting saved, though.
No. He was a man on the street interview a couple of times. That was Avengers. He was a man on the street interview. But
right.
When Cap walked out in his original outfit,
yeah,
I got all goosebumpy.
I did too. It was great. It was very fun. And it didn't seem forced, right?
Nothing in it seemed forced.
That's what was so great about it was, wouldn't it be great if we could, Alan and I were driving home after the film and laughing, going, don't you just get the impression, as we were talking about, what if this is the clairvoyant, and how is Sky going to fit in, and what's the blood all about, and what's going to happen to Fit, or what's going to happen to Simmons now that she's at the hub when S.H.I.E.L.D. starts to go kablooey, and who on the plane is Hydra? That's what we started. And I said, can you imagine being in the writer's room for Marvel when they decided to outline the plot of what's going to happen? I said, it was just a bunch of writers who got together with a couple of cases of beer and said, okay, well, let's, and Alan looks at me, he goes, they did exactly what we're doing in the car right now. I said, yeah, isn't that great? They actually chewed it out beforehand to make it sound like to make it all tight and believable and not forced. It was just so, you can hear a writer going, oh, wouldn't it be great if we could get Cap into his old uniform, and we could do that if we do it more organically by showing the Smithsonian thing, and we can use that for when Bucky comes in. You can just hear the creative process in this film.
The part where the kid recognizes him in the museum and Cap does the shh. I loved that scene when he's at the Smithsonian walking around and the little kid recognizes him. That was a great scene. And what was I going to say? Somebody had said to me, well, how did they get Falcon's suit?
Who cares?
The wings. I said, you know what? That would have been just another Black Widow hacking in, taking it and running. I think they pretty much
had great for your own imagination. Own imagination to go, because how they set it up. They said, it's behind these 4 guards, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that's nothing. Those 4 guards.
They had already set up 2 or 3 times.
Right.
How easily, 4 guards, please, Cap and Natasha, they could do that in their sleep.
The entire first sequence on the ship, the stealth that they did, the strike team, when they went into the ship.
Yeah.
Wasn't that amazing? I love the fact that there's no music. It's quiet. They show the stealth of the activity. Even Cap, because you don't think of Cap as being so efficiently and quiet and frankly murderous, right? You don't think of him as being that kind of a soldier. And then you get that appreciation for him just in that first sequence when you realize, no, he's that good. He's that good.
And they set him up to be a bull in this movie, too, because there's, a lot of glass windows were broke in this movie.
Well, I think it's time that we move on. Mike, I know that because it's kind of the general discussion right now, let's start off Star Trek news with some of the things that you and I were talking about earlier today about some of the interesting ideas that are coming out from Kickstarter and the problems that one can face.
Sure.
Star Trek news? I am so proud to be a talkie geek.
We've got our problems with the film, which we'll get into
on our dopey little podcast and nitpick it to death.
Star Trek news?
So congratulations to the always dreamy David Mack.
There's Legos?
No. Star Trek news?
Yes, the story behind the story. The movie that never was made.
They got a Klingon!
I know.
Sold.
Klingon, that's right. I'm gonna throw in a Buck Mackay rookie card. That's right, a Buck Mackay for people. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
Star Trek news?
Well, let me start off with Andrew Allen. Andrew Allen, he put together a short album with all of the various themes, songs, and stuff for Star Trek. Well, he has now a Kickstarter project for the music of Marvel and DC. He's looking for a little bit over $18,000 to produce the record. He's currently at 6 with 17 days to go. So if you like his music, it's kind of this jazzy sound. I think this is an interesting project. So, shout out to Andrew Allen. Help him out if you can. Also on Kickstarter, let me share the link for Andrew Allen first, and I'll do the same with the next one. There's a company working on a Combadge, and it's a little clip-on type of device, Bluetooth. You can tap it. It's got voice, and
it's a wearable communicator pin.
Yes,
a wearable workable communicator pin.
It seems very cool. So they're getting close. They've got a $20,000 goal. They're at $13,000. So help them out if you can. Star Trek Renegades, they have an Indiegogo page. They're trying to get money to finish the visual effects. Let's see. This is their third such fundraiser. I think they did 2 Kickstarters and an Indiegogo now for the various stages of their production. So I'm kind of.
It's raising the antenna of quite a few people. Not just there's a definite difference between starting a new project for something on Renegades has handled their fundraising very differently from a lot of other people. They started off with, here, help us get this made. And then all of a sudden, instead of using it as terms of stretch goals or improving upon a project, I'm almost under the impression that you never included special effects to begin with. You just,
The thing is, it was originally included.
Right.
It was part of it. Now all of a sudden it's like they have no money for it. So yeah, it's making people kind of go, huh?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely something that they're running a fine line with. I think that people are going, we don't understand. I thought that's what my donation was to get your movie made, and now you're telling me you can't make that movie for something I've already donated to. Is it that they can't finish the film, or is it that they're just trying to improve the quality of?
They say that it's to improve the quality. What this particular fundraiser is for is a lot of software licensing. That's also server farm rentals. So it seems like it's just to get the quality just that much better. But still, it's like, shouldn't all of this have been part of what you were asking for in the first, $250,000 and then the second $120,000? I mean, we're quickly approaching $500,000 here. And we've gotten 2, sorry, but my opinion, 2 mediocre trailers and no sci-fi effect, no visual effects yet. We don't even really know what the ships look like on the screen. We've seen, screenshots, we've seen pics. I'm using their desktop wallpaper on my computer because the ships are beautiful. but it's all concept art. It's nothing concrete, and it's like, where was all this money going?
Yep.
So,
and herein lies the problem we were talking about. Because
so I was just going to say, there has to, if it's going to be this public thing where you're asking people for money, there has to be a public accounting. There has to be, you have to be transparent, that much more transparent. So I don't know if it's CBS, if this is something that CBS should be looking into or what, but I think that there has to be some steps made to make this process more transparent. Whether that means CBS stepping in and saying, "Hey, it's time to hand over your books," or make them public, But I think CBS's property is on the line here, and
now you understand
bad production can hurt CBS.
Absolutely, and here is and so when people think, oh, well, why does CBS not care, or CBS won't care. Guess what? When it starts to get your fandom worried about whether or not, because let's face it, there's a lot of people out there who do not realize that Star Trek Renegades, Star Trek Continues, Star Trek Axanar, Star Trek everything, they're not actual Star Trek CBS properties. These are unlicensed, unapproved works done outside of CBS, and the only reason why they're really tolerated right now is because they haven't given CBS a black eye or its property a black eye. But the moment that something like this starts to make people angry, it's the moment that CBS is going to be forced to step in to protect the reputation of its own intellectual property. And when I started to talk to Mike, and he's getting a little bit perturbed about, where's this money going? I don't understand what's going on. I thought that this movie was already made, and now they're telling us that they're looking for more, and they're looking for more, and they're looking for more. This is when you can almost hear the legal guns rising out of the foundation of CBS.
Yeah.
And that's not good for those of us who like some of the other unofficial products, right? We're loving Star Trek Continues, but they're producing stuff, and we know it's inexpensive, and we know it's on the cheap, but the stories are good, and we're having a great time. And God damn it, if Renegades pisses off everybody to the point where everybody gets cease and desist letters, they're going to be the bad tomato in the pot, is what I'm telling you.
Well, I don't think Renegades is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm more concerned with Star Trek Equinox. Their story, from what I've seen and heard, has been the sketchiest of them all. They've had an Indiegogo campaign that was not even close. They currently have this week they announced a Kickstarter. It ran for a handful of days. They earned $6,000, and then they canceled it, deciding to go back to the drawing board, which doesn't sound like a bad idea. But apparently what they're planning on doing next is, they're going to do another Kickstarter, create a 20-minute video to create a little 20-minute announcement, which kind of sort of sets up story, hopefully explaining it. And then they're going to relaunch all this stuff. Well, that's all fine and good, but I mean, it's like all of these different productions and the way that they're learning from each other, which is okay. I mean, Axanar has done great. Star Trek Continues, they're doing great. But the difference between Star Trek Continues and any of the others is Star Trek Continues is delivering. Okay,
Star Trek Continues is delivering.
They asked for, I think it wasn't even $100,000. No, it was $100,000 for 2 episodes. They earned $150,000. They promised to deliver 3. They're currently working on the second one. Okay, no, they're working on their second one from that fundraiser. The first one they produced outside of the fundraiser.
Right.
So they're working on their second episode out of those 3. So far, Star Trek Continues is the only one that has delivered on any of their promises.
Right.
And didn't they already finish filming it? Didn't James already finish filming it?
I think he did wrap it already. So I mean, it's now just a matter of editing, and I think they're planning on releasing it in May. So I mean, it's a very quick turnaround. But they are, by far the most reputable so far. I have high hopes for Axanar. I'm hoping that one, goes as they're expecting. They're and I'm hoping that they're able to do what they say. But I'm more concerned about Equinox. Renegades is starting to get me worried. But something has to be done because people's money is at stake. The IP's reputation is at stake.
And that's that's one thing that we really need to remind people too, is that if you're donating to a project like this, you're donating. It's not like you're an investor. You don't get money back on it. The one thing that you should expect, however, is a finished product. And that's where we're running into, that's where we're beginning to hear are rumblings of people being upset, specifically in regards to both Equinox and Renegades, and that is, every time I think that we're going to be close and that Renegades has already finised filming.
Oh, quite a while now.
Quite a while ago, they finished filming. So they've got all of their shit in a can, and now it's all post.
And they've released a couple trailers, but again, and the trailers seem okay. There are aspects of it I don't like, but
But again,
which is why like Larry is so good with updating about where he is on Con of Wrath.
Right.
He always makes sure that the people know that have contributed, what's going on.
Right. It's very, very important to be able to make sure that people know exactly what is going on, especially when they're expecting an end result. And don't forget, people, if you're doing a Kickstarter itself is a very different product from Indiegogo. Kickstarter is, if you donate money to a Kickstarter project, it's got a time limit. If they do not reach their goals by the end of that time limit, the money is never given to them. Indiegogo, on the other hand, it's the exact opposite. They have it open for a certain amount of time. If they don't reach their goals, big deal, they'll just take what you gave them. So if you see something that's on Indiegogo, I'm just telling you, buyer beware. So that's a big issue. And I'm sad. I'm saddened to hear that there's yet another stretch goal with Renegades. And although they're not calling it a stretch goal, that's what they should really go in there and say, hey, this is a stretch goal. If we can get the money, then we get better stuff. But, the fact of the matter is that they should have had this. They should have had this all up front.
Yeah, and it was part of the original budget, and then it was part of the second budget, and then now it's its own budget, and it's like, I don't know. I'm just kind of confused.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I still want to see a new trailer. I want to see ships in a trailer, and it's like that would have been the perfect pitch for this visual funding. Give me something new so I can sink my teeth into, and I would be glad to throw down more money to once I have an example of the quality that we're going to be getting. Pictures, stills are fine, but there's no life to it. Come on, give me something to sink my teeth into.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. I mean, if people start souring or getting soured on donating, these are people who have already donated, and they thought that money was going to be what brings the entire project together. And to stop
which is what was promised.
Mid-production and go, oh yeah, that's not enough. Well, you know what? Who's the fucking shitty accountant over there? Should have had all this up front. If it was going to cost you $500,000 to make, god damn it, ask for $500,000 and don't reach your goal. And that's what this is. It's almost like it's not bait and switch as much as it is. It's just like,
please, sir,
it's more
may I have another?
Yeah, exactly. Please, sir, may I have some more? May I have some more? It's putting a lot of people in a frustrating situation. And I have to say, I'm really glad that I didn't donate to it. But I only donate to projects that I know or I have a pretty good feeling are going to come to fruition. And two, I actually want to buy. When I read the outline for Star Trek Renegades, I realized it wasn't a storyline that I appreciated, so I wasn't going to donate. I'm more than happy for the people who wanted it, but to me it wasn't. It's the same. Axanar, the story on it's kind of intriguing, but I love Star Trek Continues. Mm-hmm. It's I'll donate to the projects I want to see, but knowing darn well that the moment I give money to it, it's gone.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
It might be my perception, but I also get the feeling that like the Continues crew is more socially engaged with the fans, and by that I mean like Michelle Speck put up some photos of her and she was like, what doctor doesn't love to stop and just pose in a sexy pose in the middle of a diagnosis and stuff like that. And it's like there's that line between social media use of, okay, here's some photos, here's this, and then engaging the fans in Star Trek Continues is constantly putting out photos and saying, like, caption this. What could make Spock and McCoy... You know what I mean?
Renegades has done that. However,
they have.
It slowed way down.
Now, Axanar is really good about updates of visual effects photos and things they're working on.
And I wish that I would be seeing more of that coming from Renegades. Because really, in the big scheme of things, I don't really give a shit about Renegades coming out and saying, oh, well, happy... Renegades just seems to regurgitate what we get on StarTrek.com. What I want out of Renegades is goddamn information about what's going on.
And
where are you at in the production? It's, oh, yay, today was day so-and-so, pre-production or post-production, and we're working on this. Keep
Axanar
people
has
excited.
Been wonderful with that.
Right. And that's the other thing. In Axanar, we're starting to see the artwork. We're starting to see the projects. We're starting to see, because they
flybys and CG and stuff.
Exactly.
They're showing
So pretty.
The tests and...
So it's just a real big difference on the teams of people. And again, you know what? I don't even want to say that these are amateurs, because we know damn well they're not. These are groups of people who've got shitloads of experience in making these things. And it's kind of frustrating to know that people like Tim Russ and others are involved in Renegades, and yet all we're getting from Renegades on their social media site is happy birthday so-and-so. It's like, no, show me what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. My final thing that I want to say about this is a plea to these companies that are trying to do these Kickstarters. Maybe it's a plea to CBS to get involved. But if they're going to be taking the public's money for productions, then the public needs to know where this money is going. Make these records public. That's going to be my final word.
I don't disagree. I really don't. Oh, there's more Star Trek news, you guys.
You sounded much more Federation than Klingon there, Michael.
Well, speaking of amateur or unapproved productions, shall we call them? Unauthorized productions. One of the things that came out this week, of course, was actually some really good news about Continues, about Star Trek Continues. And there was a nice article about Star Trek Continues over at Cnet.com.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, it was a nice article showing, you know what? I have to give them so much credit, because they're just doing a really good job. They're, like I said, they're producing. Who cares if it's on the cheap? Because they're producing really great stories. And people feel like they're getting their money's worth, because they are really good stories that are true to the heart of Star Trek, the original series. So congratulations to them.
They put their money where their mouth is.
There is a cute follow-up to the article that came out about the data research about the popularity of Star Trek television shows. Washington Post has posted a follow-up data mining thing to that about the movies, about Star Trek movies and the popularity therein. Let's see. We talked about the Yahoo News and Space.com. They're covering the Kickstarter for Star Trek Axanar. Did you see that?
What was that?
Space.com, Yahoo News. They picked up the news about the Kickstarter for Star Trek Axanar.
Oh, interesting.
I put that in there. Yeah, put that in there. It was funny how you were like, oh, we need to talk about the Kickstarter thing. And I'm like, perfect, because there's a lot of news this week about stuff that came out about Kickstarters.
How convenient.
Yeah, kind of trippy. And now we get to talk about the fun toys. Okay, I got my first.
Yay, toys.
I got my first ship in the Star Trek collection, the Starships collection, like the Ship of the Month Club, right? The one that was done by Eagle Moss. Remember how we?
Yes,
I signed up for it. I am so happy. These are really nice ships.
How big are they?
They're about the Enterprise D is about total of maybe 4 inches long.
Wow, that's actually pretty good size.
Yeah, it's like 4.5 inches long. The saucer itself is probably 3.5 inches wide, and the entire saucer section is die cast. I mean, it's metal. They're made out of both plastic and metal, but oh my gosh, the quality is great. I was very happy. I felt like I got my money's worth with these.
I'm just picturing you and Alan standing in your kitchen island with the dogs sitting there tilting their heads as you're inspecting these things.
Yeah. Well, I took it to work. So what I'm going to do is
that's adorable.
When I get a new ship, I'll swap it out on my desk. So I'll take the next ship I get, I'll take the D home and bring whatever ship I get next and I'll put it on my work desk. And I really like them. So you can still sign up. I learned real quick that you always start off the series in order. So no matter how, it's not like if you started now, you would get like ship number 12. You don't. You get ship number 1, and it starts from there. So it's nice.
That is cool.
That's very smart.
Yeah, and it launched in Australia on March 31st. So people in Australia can now join this.
And how much does it cost you?
Technically, how it works is it's $20 a month. Each ship costs $20. By the way, it's not just a ship. You get this magazine that comes with it that talks about the ship, not just the model, but the actual ship from the show. So it's got like wonderful representations of the concept art from the ship from the show. It's great. So you get that. Now, to save on postage, what the company does is it will send you 2 ships at once and charge you $40 every other month.
Interesting.
And that's how they save on postage, because it's cheaper for them to send 2 at the same time than it is for them to send 1 every month. And you know what? It keeps the cost pretty low. The ships are definitely worth it. if I went into the comic book store, which, by the way, my comic book store carries a certain small number of ships that they can get their hands on.
Oh, really?
And and they sell them for like $23.
Shout out to Kaboom!
I've seen them on Amazon, individual ships. I've got my eye on the Klingon one, but it's like $20, $25 plus shipping.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. No.
I mean, if anyone's looking for a birthday present, I'm just saying, but for me, but yeah, I would love to get my hands on some of those ships. They do look really, really nice. And when we come out, I want to definitely take a closer look.
Yeah, they're really. I actually do have to say that. Where did that go? I just lost it. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Charity. Where did it go? I try to keep these things.
Oh, those are amazing.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about next.
All right. So as soon as I find the link, I'll get it for you guys and throw it in there. And I'm sure Matthew Anderson will probably beat me to it. However, there is a fantastic new set of posters here. Oh, actually, I picked it up from the Trek Collective this time. A fantastic new set of posters from Bye Bye Robot. One of our favorite people is Charity over at Bye Bye Robot, and this set of posters is from the Next Generation films. So Star Trek Generations, Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek Insurrection, and Star Trek Nemesis. And the posters are 12 inches wide and 24 inches long. And they're done on beautiful lithographic quality paper. These are nice lithos. The style of these posters, I think, are beautiful. They're kind of done in complementary but offsetting color schemes. So there's orange and green and blue. I bought one. I bought one. Oh, so pretty. I bought the Star Trek Insurrection one. Not just because Insurrection, yes, to this day is still one of my favorite films, but also because I loved the style of it. I liked the fact that it was less about an individual character than it was about the ship, right?
I really liked the Nemesis one.
The Nemesis one is cool. It's very cool. And of all four posters, the one that actually has a person in it that I liked. The other two, I'm just not a person who likes to hang art that has actors' faces on it. I'm more about conceptual art. I like ships. Yeah, I'm more about the ships. I can't help myself. I know more about the ships.
On the Trek Collective article, there's one picture I didn't see, and that's the one all the way at the bottom, the USS Enterprise NC 1701A. Wow.
Isn't that great? It's like an Art Nouveau print.
I haven't seen that one before. That one's cool
I had
too.
Neither. And that one's done by Alicia Andrew and is also being sold by Bye Bye Robot. Now, you can buy these posters separately, and I think they were $20 each. I got mine. Okay, $25 each. I got mine in the mail this week, so I already have mine. It's gonna be
and
framed.
I think if you ordered all four together,
it's like $89 or something.
You save a little bit of money, right?
And I can tell you, and I know Mike and Terry can tell you the same thing. Bye Bye Robot, everything they do is such amazing quality. It's become a tradition for me at the cons now to get at least one print from them. And last year I got 2 DS9 prints from them, and Mike got me one.
Mm-hmm, I gifted you one.
You gave the Romulan one.
Yeah, it was one of the Romulan ones.
Yeah.
The quality of the paper is fantastic. I like the fact that they have so many different styles of work, that they bring in different artists to do their work. And it's just a great company, and they're always very, very helpful.
Last year I got the Terok Nor and the Deep Space Nine.
I have the Enterprise D, that impressionistic Enterprise D. Again, it's me. It's the ships. I can't help myself. There is another print available for those people who prefer more photographic type of styles of art. There is a new print available through StarTrek.com. It's the Enterprise D battling a Borg cube. It is 12 by 15. It is framed already, however, and it's running $70.
You have a link for that one?
Yep, I'm putting that right in there. And again, there's a lot of people who prefer their artwork in that more realistic photographic CG style.
That is interesting. I'm still trying to negotiate with Bad Robot or Bye Bye Robot to get them in for an interview. The stories that they tell through their art is pretty.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, now Did everybody see the how every year at April 1st, ThinkGeek does their fake products?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of shied away from social media on the first because...
So did I.
Well, I did too, but ThinkGeek is different.
It started at midnight. I just got to tell you this, Terry. It started at midnight when there's something that somebody put out a couple of years ago, but if you hadn't seen it then you didn't know, where they said that Netflix had acquired the rights to do Firefly. And I was like, okay, that one's just fucking cruel.
Cruel.
That one's not funny in any way. Hey, an April Fool's prank, little hint, try and make it funny.
Funny, yeah.
Just saying.
Well, one of the things that came out, the ThinkGeek is very different. The reason why ThinkGeek is very different is because now it's expected. And ThinkGeek goes out of its way to make things hilarious and fun. And that is they always produce at least 3, sometimes 4 or 5 promotions for products that don't exist.
And they go all out.
They go all out on these. But usually one of those products gets made. Did you know that? The April Fool's product, one of them typically gets made into a real product. This year there were 2 Star Trek products, fake products, that were released on the ThinkGeek website on April 1st. One of them was the Star Trek. One of them was the Frisbee, the USS Enterprise Frisbee. I put the link in the chat room. And the other one was the Rosetta Stone Klingon language lessons.
Yep.
I think that one hit social media first because Michael Dorn did the promotion for it on the video for ThinkGeek.
That's awesome.
It was really funny. And I have to say there were a lot of people who were like, why isn't this real? Surprisingly enough, of all of the things, it's not real.
That's one that they should make.
I don't know. Throwing an Enterprise at somebody would be pretty damn funny, but they'd probably poke somebody's eye out with it.
I don't know how that thing would be able to fly, though.
Well, it wouldn't. That's the funny part of it.
You just lob it and it hit the ground. I mean, it's like reenacting a scene from every time Troy gets behind the helm.
Did you see the video that they made for the flying disc?
No, I didn't see the whole video. No, why?
Never ever let the red shirt try and catch it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, it was a Star Trekky goodness for the April 1st over ad.
By the way, the USS Enterprise flying disc, it was Space Lincoln approved. on their actual page, and that was one line at the bottom.
That's funny. It
was, yeah.
Oh, well, let's see. That's good. We talked about that. We talked about First Contact Day. We talked that. Oh, I love being able to close tabs. This is great. Let's talk a little bit about books.
You close them. I have to open them for show notes.
Talk a little bit about books.
Okay.
So, we're supposed to be talking about books.
Books. They're these bound things with paper and words.
I've heard tales of the dead tree format, but I don't believe them. No, you're wrong. They're this thing that you put on your Kindle.
Amazon, ebook. If you haven't bought it, I will cunt punch you. That's a great line.
It's a good line.
Do you read Star Trek novels? I'm sure Swallow has some stories he could tell us.
I love big books and I can't lie.
That's one of the really good things in life. To me, as long as it's enjoyable to read.
That's a good book. Wasn't it a good book, Mike?
It was.
That's because Mackenzie Calhoun is badass.
No, it is not a Cardassian generational epic.
I was like in heaven.
It's really good.
Right on.
And the reason why we're going to talk a little bit about books is because our friend Ada 5 has just been on fire with some great updates. Not to say DEF CON didn't. You want to know what's going on with the books, you can follow the TrekCollective.com or head over to the G&T show and watch our forums because DEF CON always posts the updates with regards to the books that are coming out. Oh, so much stuff. Okay, now this was the cover of, and I know Matthew Anderson's probably already beat me to it because I can't see, is the cover to the new Star Trek Next Generation book called The Light Fantastic, which is the book we talked about a little bit last week by Jeffrey Lang that involves Law, so it involves Data, and it involves Law. Law is back. The poster or artwork for it is there. And I have to say I kind of like it. For once, it's not a bad Photoshop. It's actually artwork. Mm-hmm. So I'm good with that. And then CBS Simon & Schuster has released the blurb from the book as well. And that is in the chat room. It's on the link. You can follow it up. You can pre-order the book at Amazon, which of course means please go to G&T Show first and then use the link on our site, because if anything you buy from Amazon through our link helps support our show. So a lot of S's in that sentence.
Star Trek Seekers in 2014.
Oh God, that hurt.
Sorry. The Lost Era cover was also released. The one from David R. George III called One Constant Star is being put into the chat room now. According to the Trek Collective, The Lost Era is due out it's the Enterprise B story, and it's due out in June. Darn cool.
That's kind of interesting.
Una McCormack's DS9 novel, The Missing, due out in January. So January of 2015. By the way, it's my understanding the name of it changed. It used to be a TNG novel, and then they switched it to a DS9 novel.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not clear on how or when that happened, or if it was just an error to begin with and they corrected the error. It wasn't very clear as to what happened there.
Just remember, they're not Boeing. They're saying, ooh, nah.
And then Simon & Schuster has also released the blurb for Greg Cox's next TOS book, Foul Deeds Will Rise, which should be released in December. The link for that was also put into the chat room already. And as Ada 5 puts in there, it says, with no less than 28 ships on the front of the book, it's surely the candidate for the most ships on a cover ever. The only book I can think of that comes close is Ships of the Line. Now, he's talking about Star Trek Deep Space Nine's The Missing. And here's the blurb. Deep Space Nine is once again becoming an important way station in the Alpha Quadrant for many different people with many different agendas. Uniquely crewed by representatives of different species from both the Khitomer Powers and the Typhon Pact, the Federation Science and Exploration vessel Athene Donald stops at the station as its final port of call before heading into uncharted territories. The whole project is the brainchild of Dr. Catherine Pulaski, who hopes that science will do what diplomacy alone cannot and help various powers put aside the tensions of recent years, returning to scientific research and the exploration of space. On DS9, Base Commander Ro Laren has her hands full with the sudden arrival of a ragtag flotilla of small ships crewed by a group calling themselves People of the Open Sky. Ro is not keen on handling this first contact duty, but becomes increasingly intrigued by the people, who are made up of several hitherto unknown species. Describing themselves as explorers, they are interested in everything about the station. Ro begins to enjoy her assignment, particularly as she takes counsel from the logs of Jean-Luc Picard. Blackmer, however, is more suspicious about these apparently friendly arrivals and monitors their movements around DS9. I think it sounds fun.
Who wrote that?
Una McCormack. Oh, that's the Simon & Schuster blurb.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
but that's Una's book?
Yeah.
She's so good.
I know. I know. Now, apparently earlier this week or something, Doug Drexler had allegedly posted the artwork for this on his Facebook page, but it was either taken down or corrected. I'm not sure. Either way. Pretty fun stuff. And I saw the little picture of the little U.S. the Sagittarius in for the Seekers, which is coming out. I can't wait. Right.
Any more book news? Because I have some.
Yay, go for it.
Oh, look at Mike.
Our friends over at Trek United, they have sent me an advance copy and given permission to talk about Star Trek Full Speed Ahead Eternal Night. This is a fan-produced
anthology
novel. Yeah, it's an anthology. It's got 3 stories in it. It's by Mike Garcia and A.J. Gertner. The 3 stories are Milk Run, Eternal Midnight, and A Break Perhaps. Let's see, it features the adventures of the USS Farragut, and let's see, the Inspector General's department is investigating the conduct of the captain and the crew of the Farragut, so they are pulled off their border patrol duty and given routine jobs. However, trouble and ships named Farragut are never far apart. So I'll be including a link in the show notes, so give the book a try. It's quality fan fiction, so enjoy.
And I will personally vouch for the quality of work that Mike Garcia puts out. This is not the first work that he's done on the Full Speed Ahead series. It's a great series. It's probably some of my favorite fan fiction out there. Mike Garcia kicks ass. Very, very good. And I'm glad that he and Kirak Lestock have kind of met together so they can get his work out into different formats. Trek United Publishing, by the way, is a completely volunteer effort done by Kirak and a bunch of other volunteers affiliated with Trek United who help quality fan fiction writers, along with people from Ad Astra, to get their works put into ebook format and of course, of it for free.
And there are, I've been told that there are also 2 more books coming out of United Publishing this week, but they have not finished the last touches. So look for those as well, coming soon.
Like the characters in those books. All right, shall we move on to Spine? Lots of news today, I know. What do we say? We talked a lot about Captain America already, so.
And I ranted.
No, that was a good rant.
That was a good rant. Oh, good one.
Any convention news?
You want to talk about the convention first?
Sure.
Shall we just start right off the bat with a Las Vegas update?
Are we still talking Vegas, right?
We are.
Talking about Vegas.
Yes.
You're coming to Vegas, right? Star Trek Las Vegas may take place every August, but on this show.
This is where we hang out the rest of the year.
Exactly.
The crew has been fatigued now from so many months in space, and they need to take a break. The landing party has been down to check out the terrain while the crew gets ready to play. They say there's only plant life living on this lovely rock, but a rodent up here's wearing a vest.
Great. Convention. All right. Not a lot of news, but the link is in the chat room, of course. I think only one person has been announced since last week. Nope, looks like 2. Lee Ehrenberg. It's funny, most people would recognize Lee Ehrenberg as one of the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean, the short balding one with the beard who hangs around the guy with the one eye, right? But he was the Tellarite ambassador Grawl from Star Trek Enterprise. He was also Star Trek Voyager's Pelk in the episode Juggernaut, and Damon Bach in Bloodlines.
Oh, cool.
So, good guy. Yeah, he's. I think that's Lee Ehrenberg, right? Isn't he the pirate guy? I have to look at his picture again. And then finally, Tiny Ron was added as a guest to the list. And this is the first time that Tiny will be a guest at the Star Trek convention. Most people would recognize him as Yes. Meherdu of Deep Space Nine, and he was also Alpha Hirogen Idrin on Star Trek Voyager. He's a character actor of some memory, namely because he's a really tall guy, right? He's really tall, and so he plays those.
Is Tiny his real name, or is it a nickname?
They're not saying it's a nick. I'm sure it's a nickname, but that's the name he goes by. Tiny Ron,
and he's not.
And he's not. No, he's really not. But he's made several appearances in Star Trek, but also was in Alien Nation, Ace Ventura, Camp Fear, The New Adam 12, and The Naked Gun. So he's going to be signing.
Adam 12?
Yeah, but it says.
Oh, free autographs to Gold Weekend patrons.
Right. So he'll be handing out, if you are a Gold Weekend, a gold passport holder, you will get his autograph for free. So that's pretty much the news. The G&T show booth is still heading, doing very, very well. We're set. We're ready to go. We're in the negotiations we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with Mr. Cushman and how that will or may not work out. Either way, we love him very much, and we can't wait to have him back on the show. It's pretty much the ball's in his court on how he wants to be able to deal with it now. Kipley Brown. And Kipley Brown, who, of course, is the star of the movie Yesterday Was a Lie, but was also the EPS specialist Jane Taylor in Enterprise's episode The Forgotten, which is one of my favorite Enterprise episodes ever. She will be joining us for at least Friday and Saturday at our booth. She'll be signing autographs for people. And also joining us will be James Kerwin, who's the director of RUR Genesis, the director of Yesterday Was a Lie, as well as the director of Episode 3 of Star Trek Continued. So, good guy. We stop by our booth and say hello.
Handsome gentleman.
Nice on top of it, too.
Yeah.
Complete package. And,
well, he's not Kipley, but,
Well, no, he's not Kipley. So we're very excited to have Kipley, and we're working on a couple of other surprises as well. So if you are making plans to head to...
rumors of one of those surprises made me squeak.
Wait a minute, was I left out of the loop on that?
I think you were CC'd on it.
Oh, I may have been. The other thing that happened that we haven't talked about, just real quick, not going to get too much into it, but Wednesday was a very rough day for me at work, not only because of work, but because the day stretched into the midnight hour with the happenings at Fort Hood.
Fort Hood.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. See, even Lem says so in the chat room that Kipley is a sweetheart and hilarious to talk to. Isn't she? She's so great. We love her very much. So we're very excited to be able to play host for her because it's going to be fun. Now, that was it for the convention.
Yes, when I told Janice that Kipley would be joining us, I got the
Vulcan eyebrow. Did you get the Vulcan eyebrow? Okay, she likes her too.
Real quick, one last thing about the convention. Did you guys see that the bridge is not going to be there this year?
Kind of not surprising. Yeah.
I know that Nick was planning on.
We'll make something happen.
Okay, I was kind of when I saw that I was like, oh, and then I thought of Nick and I was like, oh,
yeah.
So yeah.
And maybe Rod can have the captain's chair there again.
Right on.
I think we're all a little disappointed in that. Not surprising. It took up getting that thing around must be very difficult and costly.
Yes, I'm sure. And not to mention that it probably damages the equipment or the
Right.
stuff. I mean, that many people wear
And not the least of which is this is going. Yeah, that is going. And what they're really trying to do is raise money to make it a permanent exhibit, and they're doing that.
Yeah.
They want to put it into a permanent building and make it an individual place where people can go use it. Not unlike the experience, but
Well, I think one of the goals for it was to kind of also not only have it be an interactive museum, but also to be able to use it for TNG era fan productions.
Right.
Oh, just the idea of makes me
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Easy, Mike. Back in a
I know. Well, then heading off to and tying up today's news with the Star Trek Online news.
I want to play Star Trek Online.
Engineering here. Warp engines are online.
Course laid in, Captain.
Engage.
Your ship.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Your crew.
Move out.
Your destiny.
And there's season 9 is coming down the pike, you two.
Did you make it through the mirror? Did you get the reward?
I did. I got the reward, and she used it. You want to know what do you think Beth took? Her 250 marks. What do you think she got?
My guess, she went to Vulcan's Secret and got some lingerie, and what?
I think you threw it into the Borg reputation since you don't do
exactly
a lot of
what she did. That's exactly what I did. I bought Omega marks, and she only has 2 days left, and she'll be finished with Tier 5 Omega and Tier 5 Dyson. Yeah.
Wait until you see your survivability change with the Tier 5 Omega.
Really? Good, because I'm very excited that she'll be done with all of her reputations by the end of the week. All of them.
Congrats.
Oh, finally. Took forever. But some of the changes that are coming out in season 9 seem pretty darn. Oh, by the way, the First Contact celebration is live. For those people who have not taken part in doing the First Contact mission, it is new this year. It's a repeat of what we've done before, which is you take the Odyssey out, or you take the whatever faction's flagship, you take it out for testing of new weaponry.
I've done the Klingon one already. I haven't done the other two.
It's the same, right? You're taking them out against Undine, and you're trying to test the new mission. And it's a simple mission. You're taking out targets, and then you're attacked by a small group of Undine. Take them out. Mission's over with. And if you've never done it before, then you can get your pet, a non-combat pet. For the Klingons, is it a shuttle?
It's a batlet.
Oh, so you get the batlet. The Federation gets the Phoenix, and the Romulans now get
the Nanoff,
the Nanoff pet.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
I still have to do that one, and I also need to rerun the Federation one, and so I can take some notes.
But it's also nice because now you can rerun it and get a package of 35 reputation marks of your choice, which I think is also very nice. That ends tomorrow, however. So if you're listening to this recording after Tuesday, sorry, you're out of luck. But it never was an event that lasted very long. Now, some of the stuff that's coming up on DS9, don't forget, or DS9. What the hell?
I did have a question because I missed it. Did they do anything this year for Leonard Nimoy's birthday? Remember a couple of years ago they had the big party at Vulcan for his birthday?
I don't know if they did or not. Now, by the way, does everybody know that Brandon is leaving?
Yeah.
Is that what your post was about?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Brandon and Patrick are leaving Perfect World. They're moving back to Southern California, where they're going to be starting their new life. They get married in June, and
so happy for them. But
I am so happy for them. But we're losing Bradflake.
Yeah.
Losing Bradflake. I'm sad.
He will be missed severely.
Well, he will be very missed. I know that he hasn't been the community manager at Star Trek Online for a few weeks now, but we're just excited for him and all of the new opportunities.
I thought that's what your post was about. I just wasn't sure.
Matt, he did get promoted.
He did.
Yeah, so he did get promoted, but apparently,
Well, I think a lot of it was, what happens? Sometimes you go home and you find out that your family is moving on. He's going to have a new niece. His his sister's pregnant. They're gonna, he wants to be, and not the least of which is he just got his degree in international business. He just finished all of that hard work, and he's getting married, and he's going through all of these big life changes, and sometimes you just want to go home and have your support network closer to you. I can understand that. I really can. So we're thrilled for him, and
one of the most cuddly people you can ever meet.
Absolutely. And I know we'll still see him in games, though. But
and hopefully at the convention.
I don't know. I hope so. But
I know.
His wedding's right before the convention.
How selfish.
How dare he? That's what I'm saying. But what about me? What about me? Well, Captain Smirk has been our community manager for quite a while. Trevor has been great. I don't know whether or not he's had the time, really, to put into place events that they're going to be doing. So I don't think they did anything for the Leonard Nimoy or even the William Shatner birthday game. They've been a tad busy getting things together for Season 9 to come out. And Season 9's going to have a lot. It's going to have a lot. It's got the new Undine Battle Zone. The Undine have been upgraded and tweaked to be the formidable enemy that they're supposed to be. There's a new kit system put into the game.
That sounds kind of interesting, yeah.
There's also the new character creation system.
Which they've added how many new heads and complexions? 3?
And hairstyles.
And styles. How many? Oh, they added hairstyles? I didn't see that.
Maybe it's because they fit the heads now a lot better.
Yeah, I bet that's right. I have to say I was very pleased with the new complexions and the new...
Is crafting part of this? I haven't had a chance to get on.
I have not seen anything new with regard to changes in crafting yet. I think that's a bigger project that we'll see in the future. I think this might be, me too.
Remember the old days when people would be spending all their time crafting?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's like I do in Star Trek. Oh, if I'm in Lord of the Rings Online, I've been known to just jump in and I'll be crafting for 3 hours. I won't be doing anything else crafting.
I don't think I've ever actually crafted anything.
I crafted you an Aegis set.
You did.
Yeah.
I did a lot of collecting for that.
Well, I can tell you right now, I've been doing a lot of collecting, and now that I have room in my bank to keep it, yay! So if anybody needs an Aegis set, send me a little email in the game. I'll send one to you. Matthew Anderson, they are messing with the reputations. And what are they going to be doing? Well, they're going to be adding new material so they can deal with, the power creep they're going to have to deal with. So they're going to be putting new items into the reputations. They're going to be changing the way that right now the Dyson reputation is done. Because right now you have 2 projects that you have to complete. One is Dyson Marks, and the other one is this Dyson Commendation. And it's my understanding they're going to be taking the Commendation part out of it and making that Dyson Marks as well. So you don't have to get 2 different kinds of marks.
Well, I've got a complaint about the Dyson reputation, something that I noticed this last week. I completely wasted like 500 marks because they allowed me to pick up the same item twice. I had already purchased it, and somehow they allowed me to pick it up again, and I thought I was picking up an alt kit or an alt armor, and it turned out that it wasn't an alt kit or alt armor. It was the same armor, and it was like, wait a minute, the other ones prevented me from doing that. Why
did they really? See, I don't understand why, because you can put these things on your bridge officers.
Yeah, because I put my bridge officers in either Mako or Omega gear.
Yeah, but you can only get them once. For the Mark 12s, you can only get them once. You can get the Mark 10s, you can get the Mark 11s.
Stan is wearing a Mark 12 adapted, and my Orion female is wearing the Mark 12.
They're different items.
But there are also different variants as well. Well, I thought with the Dyson and I was getting a different variant, but it turned out I wasn't. I was getting the exact same one as I had before. And on the other ones, as from what I had noticed when I was doing them, now they may have changed it, with the Dyson at some point, or I don't know, but I was able to get the armor twice, and I didn't like that. I wasted, all that hard work.
No, I understand your frustration with that, because like I said, I bought the Riemann covariant shield for my shuttlecraft, and then hit the wrong thing and wound up getting the Romulan engine. So that was like, oh
Oops.
no, what did I do?
They need to make the store system in the reputation system work a little bit better. It's hard to figure out what you're doing. I don't know. It just seems
maybe if you had already purchased something, it has purchased next to it when you're doing the reputation thing.
If they're going to allow you to buy it over and over again, yes, it needs to be identified in some way, or flag, or allow you to hide, previously bought things.
It would be nice if that would happen, but I can tell you right now, it probably would never occur because, let's face it, if you make a mistake, who benefits from it? Well, they do.
Well, Matthew asked if I ground out the Romulan reputation marks for that. Ground out is kind of an easy yes, but no, because I was gaining it through the Mirror Universe incursion stuff, so it wasn't like I was busting ass to have to do 10 or 15 at a time. I was doing it 70 or 60 at a time.
Getting marks for me isn't that difficult now. It's nice that I have a different location to get them. I was so thrilled to be able to get Omega marks from something other than STFs.
Yeah.
It was so nice because I hate STFs. What, Mike?
Another thought is, if you're going to allow these types of things to happen, give us an ability to recycle them. Turn them in for partial, credit. Give us, because I've got a ton of things that I really don't need anymore, but because I work so hard for them, I can't throw them away. So
sell them to the Defari. Seriously, sell them to the Defari. You'll get at least half the EC for them.
Yeah, but what happens to all the marks I grinded out for? I mean, that's where I'm kind of frustrated about.
Well, that's why I don't even get anything until it's already marked 12. But now I can tell you, since I'm just now reaching tier 5 on these things, I'm not going to be. Even with the Romulan stuff, I haven't gone to get anything at what it's quote unquote max tier right now. Namely because I know that changes are going to be made. I think season 9 we're going to see some changes with the gear, the powers. Even Matthew Anderson was talking about how they're going to be changing the passive powers on your characters. So there's a lot of power creep that it's going to be addressed in season 9. And though just be prepared, there's going to be some changes from things that you'll start seeing that will be available in the
I wonder how this. I would like to know the effect this has on someone like the casual, maybe like person that only gets to play like maybe once a month.
0. This will have absolutely no effect on like that.
That they log on and all of a sudden there's these changes.
I don't think so. I mean, it happens to me every so often. If I haven't played Lotro in a long time and then there's a change, oh my God, remember when Lotro did, they got it. They entirely got it. Skills.
Mm-hmm.
Their entire skills were gutted, changed. And I have to say at first, 10 minutes in, it's like, everything's different. Right? 15 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I love how this works. I loved how they changed all of the skills. And you know what? It's part of MMOs. It's not just Star Trek Online. It's every game. They have to keep it evolving or else people will get bored with it, or they're fixing things that, make them more efficient.
Finally, Sensei said something. She said they're changing everything except the fact there's still a nightmare to get any other marks other than Dyson.
Well, I don't find that to be the case. And that's saying something because I don't do STFs. And even though the Mirror Universe event was a very nice way for me to be able to get Omega marks, I still remembered, oh yeah, there's still that entire thing down on Defera that I could go do. I could grind the easy stuff over there. And I was able to get Dyson marks. I was able to get Nukara marks by doing not just the Crystal and Entity, but also the Azure Nebula.
Terry, I wonder, is that truly a true statement that you don't do STFs? Aren't anything that you go into the queue, aren't those essentially STF-like events?
Well, I mean, the only time I've gotten Omega marks was doing the Mirror Universe event and Defera.
What I'm saying is that almost everything that's in there is a team-based event.
But I don't consider that. The Borg STFs to me are almost different, right? And the reason why is because the STF runners made them that way. I don't like doing them because I don't like the people people who run them because they're mean. They're like the Eve players of Star Trek Online.
See, I've never had that problem in
Oh my
when I
God.
pog.
I really, really, really cannot stand some of the assholes who play those because they're jerks.
I've
They
had
are
maybe
not.
one experience.
Have you tried them lately since they've, done all
No,
of
I've
these
refused
new
to play
additions?
them. I've refused to play them in over a year.
I think you should give them a try because I think they're all more in line with the rest of the feud events.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're all designed to be everything on that list is pretty much an STF type of activity where it's a team thing going through a certain thing in a specific region or whatever. So I think it's not a fair statement to say that you don't like STFs because in a sense when you're doing the breach or when you're doing anything that's on the queue, anything that you're doing on the queue is essentially an STF.
I've never done the breach. I've never done the Dyson stuff, right? I really haven't. The only thing I do off the queue has been the Mirror Universe event, Colony Invasion, Azure Nebula, Crystal, and Entity.
Again, but those are still STF-like events.
I don't call them that. Why?
Well, they don't. Cryptid
the Borg STFs. The Borg STFs. I'll be more specific. I don't do the Borg STFs.
Give them a try. Granted,
Were you having a bigger problem with people in space or on ground?
Oh, I don't do the ground ones.
No, I don't either.
See, what's so funny is that I prefer to do ground, but I would have to say it didn't matter. Assholes were assholes. And these people were douchebags. Absolute douchebags. There's nothing worse, to the point where it's like the last time I even tried, I left in the middle of it and I could have given a shit about them because I was sick and tired of being yelled at in chat about what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, you realize this is not an elite STF. We're pugging and I don't know what to do. How do you expect me to know what to do if you're not going to be nice to teach me, you fuckhead?
Well, I've invited you many times.
Right, and that's
so
why
that
I
we
don't
can do it on TeamSpeak.
No. But look at where I'm at. I'm at tier 5 of Omega now, and I don't need them. I didn't have to do them.
But you've been invited many times, and then you wouldn't have been yelled at. You would have been with friends.
I haven't been. You want to know why I haven't been yelled at? Because I haven't had to play them. I solved my own problem. I don't play with people like that. And that my entire experience up until that point was asshole, asshole, asshole. And then I don't need to be around you. I'll just go do my own shit. So I did the DeFera stuff. And then yay for Mirror Universe. It gave me enough. It gets me through tier 5. It'll leave me with a few hundred marks. And again, yay, I get my passives. I don't even need the gear. I don't even need the gear. And that's the other thing. It's like, oh yay, I get to tier 5 of Romulus. And why? The only thing I got was the flamethrower because I thought it was fun.
I love the flamethrower.
But I don't need.
When I'm an engineer and I lay down my turrets and have the flamethrower, there's a lot of plasma flying around.
Yeah, I don't see the need for the gear. And now that the Undine stuff is coming out, I'll probably, when I get through that tier 5, I won't even work at getting any of that gear. I'll probably work on Undine stuff because that's the sweet loots. Alt Exist used to talk. What's the newest? Everybody wants the newest and best, and that's not even considered to be Omega stuff anymore. Every reputation system they come out with now is it's power creeping, and that's why they have to deal with all of the passives again. They have to do a big pass through. They have to knock everybody down. Everybody's crying nerf, nerf, nerf. Well, you know what? That's what happens when your goal is to get the newest and greatest because it's better than what was out there the last time. It's called power creep. So every couple of years they're going to go through, knock everything back. So what they come out with next will actually look like it works better. It's the nature of an MMO.
I do still wish they would come out with a Romulan armor to wear.
Meaning, you mean kind of like the
Mako set?
The Mako set or the...
Yeah.
Well, they might.
Because I think they're the only ones that don't have one.
Oh, my word. Thank you, Baz.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this just in.
Great news.
Dayton Ward has been nominated for a Scribe Award for History Shadow under the Speculative Novel Original category. Congratulations, Dayton.
Congratulations.
That's really great.
Awesome. That's wonderful news.
It's a terrible book, but
Liar. By the way, I take it you didn't get an Ask Dayton in this week.
I was going because I got so busy with the Fort Hood stuff.
All right. Well, congratulations to Mr. Dayton Ward on your nomination.
No, that's great news.
For your Scribe for the International Association of Media Tie-In Writers, the Scribe Awards under Speculative Novel Original. Also, congratulations to
Greg Cox
DeCanado and Greg Cox for the books, which I have, the Bestseller Job and the Zoo Job, the Leverage books for tie-in. I have those. Those are great. Right. Excellent.
You know what Dayton's fees are going to be like if he wins? I mean, he's already a New York Times bestselling author, and we really need to talk to our lawyers. Make sure we get this thing hammered out.
Fantastic. You know, what a great note to end the show on.
Yep.
Really is.
One real quick before we go, I want to say I've been reading These Are the Voyages Season 2, and oh my God, the chapter on the Doomsday Machine, awesome.
And for those who don't know what he's talking about These Are the Voyages Season 2 by Mark Cushman. You can get it online at Amazon, and it's wonderful, wonderful. Season 1 and Season 2 are out.
I will tell you that now she hasn't given me an update because she's been so busy with school, but Janice has been watching the original series on, I think it's on Netflix, and she's watching them, in order, and she was in love with the Immunity Syndrome, the one with the giant space amoeba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was loving that one. Now, I don't know how far she might be like 3/4 of the way through Season 3 by this point. I don't know. But, yeah, it's fun. She's been really, I get these messages, like I'll be sitting here and I'll be watching something and this is the text I'll get. Wow, Spock's really having fun screwing with Kirk. What are you talking about? And then she won't tell me what she's talking about. The next one I'll get, wow, Kirk looks good in a Nazi uniform. Oh, you're watching Patterns of Force.
It's fun to listen in on the experiences of somebody who's never seen the original series as they watch it.
Or hasn't seen it in 30 years. You know? And,
right.
You're right. First Time Trekkie is hilarious.
Isn't she great? She has already agreed to be interviewed for one of our supplemental logs, so we need to get her on shortly.
She's so sarcastic.
Don't forget, we have talked with, and the recording has already been posted. Mike and I got to sit down with the guys at 5 Year Mission, the wonderful band that allows us to use their work on our site for free. So thank you.
I was unable to make that one. I apologize.
What was that, Mike?
They sang us a song.
And they had 3 more ready to go. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Mike and I became friends on Facebook, and he goes, "Yeah, we had 3 more songs ready to go." I'm like, "God damn it! If I had known." I would have I would have paced that interview to be a little bit better, but now, so blame me. I fucked up. But they're a great group of guys. Wonderful music, very fun. They're doing a song for every episode of the original series.
And they're hilarious.
Year 3 of the 5 Year Mission is out. Every album has 16 songs on it.
Are they going to do
episodes.
The animated series as well?
That's their goal after the original series is done.
Nice.
So,
oh my God, that's funny because some of the animated series is wonderful and some of them are, cartoon.
Well, go check them out. Buy their albums. They'll be, I think
they have a play set. They have play sets, so get those.
They do have play sets. Yeah, I think for $10 you can buy, paper dolls of the band.
So cool.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's so funny. With a Gorn. I think you can get the Gorn. It's very funny.
Yes.
So check them out at 5yearmission.com. They've got a couple of live performances coming up in the Illinois, Chicago, and Indiana areas. And that's kind of it for right now. Well, that's kind of it for our show, too. I have no other announcements other than don't forget to support Dayton Ward and send him your congratulations on the nomination for the Scribe Award. And we will catch you guys next week.
Joel Luncher. Bye, Janice.
Music for the G&T show is provided by Warp 11, Grethor, 5 Year Mission, and Andrew Allen's Smooth Federation.
G&T show is a Busy Little Beaver production.
Gonna take a 5-year tour. Boldly go where no man's gone before.